3. How trees grow. How does a seed become a tree? It seems like a huge journey, so we've broken down the different stages in a tree's life from seed to snag. A seed is a design used by trees for millennia to ensure that the next generation of trees exists. Seeds have evolved into different sizes and shapes so they can be dispersed by the wind, water, or animals. Inside each seed is all the resources it needs to survive independently until it reaches a safe place to grow. How seeds become trees. Sprout, or germination. Once the seed has found the right conditions, it needs to secure itself. The first root breaks through the seed, anchoring it and taking in water from the developing plant. The next stage in germination is the emergence of the embryonic shoot. The shoot pushes up through the soil, with the shoot leaves either poking above ground or rotting underneath as the rest of the shoot grows above. A shoot becomes a seedling when it is above the ground. This stage is when trees are most at risk from disease and damage like grazing animals. A tree becomes a sapling when it is over 3 foot tall. The length of the sapling stage depends on the tree species, but saplings have defining characteristics, which include flexible trunks, smoother bark than mature trees, and an inability to produce fruit or flowers. Trees with really long lifespans like yews and oaks are saplings for much longer than short-lived species like silver birch and wild cherry. A tree becomes mature when it starts producing fruits or flowers. This is when the tree is at its most productive. How long it will stay productive depends on the species. A typical English oak tree starts producing acorns at around 40 years old, peaking in productivity around 80 to 120 years old. Oaks in general can be productive for 300 years, then rest for 300 years before moving on in the life cycle. In contrast, rowan starts producing berries after 15 years, and by 120 years it's at the end of its life. These fruits are dispersed and the life cycle repeats, but that's not the end of a tree's journey. The next stage of a tree's life comes when it passes beyond maturity and is older than the trees of the same species. It has become ancient. Depending on the species, a tree might be called ancient when it is only in its early hundreds, like rowan, or when it is thousands of years old, like yew. This means we can't define ancient trees just by age. Instead, we look for key characteristics like a small canopy and a wide trunk, which is likely to be hollow, both of which show great age. A snag is a tree in the final stages of its life. It can be dead standing or a dying tree. The tree's life might be at an end, but its usefulness to wildlife is about to peak. Dead wood provides specialist homes for insects as well as fungi. These insects are a source of food for birds, bats, and other small mammals. These creatures take advantage of hollows or holes in the tree for shelter. In turn, these smaller residents are food for larger mammals and birds of prey. Dead and decaying trees are a vital part of the wood's biodiversity. That's why we leave plenty on our sites. Removing dead wood from woodland removes an important part of biodiversity. Thank you for listening.